Good evening and the warmest of welcomes to Dubai International Airport, where tonight I'm going to be filming an impromptu video review of Lufthansa's business class. This evening I've had a free upgrade. I was due to be flying in the premium economy. Behind me is a Lufthansa Airbus A330, so tonight fully expecting their older seat, but can't wait to jump on board and check out exactly what business class is going to be like with Lufthansa in 2024. A couple of minutes to boarding, let's do it together. Well, it's always nice to get a free upgrade. I must say it came as a bit of a shock. I don't really have much status, if any at all, truth be told, with Star Alliance, so that was very nice indeed. In terms of the boarding process, this was managed nicely by Lufthansa, and it wasn't long before I was jumping on board and checking out what business class was going to be like with them. Despite a random seat allocation that evening, I was actually allocated seat 5K, which, to be honest, would have been the one that I'd have chosen had I been able to reserve a seat up front. It was nicely towards the back of the cabin, was close enough to the toilet without causing too much bother, and of course it was a window seat. The seats here were laid out in a fairly old school 222 as fully expected, but despite the cabin being pretty old, it actually didn't look its age too badly. It was nice and clean, well maintained, so that is always a very good sign. Of course, those older entertainment screens there, in addition to the layout, for sure being big giveaways. Waiting for passengers at the seats was then a large pillow and also a blanket. Alrighty, so that's us on board. It's retro, but I've actually seen older business classes, to be honest. The seats themselves are quite nice and comfortable. Obviously no privacy with the person that you're sitting next to, but over the next couple of minutes as ever, we'll check out a few more of this seat's features and then we'll be up in the air. Now, whilst I was praying at this moment in time that I wouldn't have a neighbour, sadly they arrived a little bit later into the boarding process. It did feel ever so slightly like a very fancy premium economy. I've never been in a business class seat and felt in quite such close proximity to another passenger. The seat controls, however, were in nice, easy reach, as was the table, which we'll check out a little bit later on. The offsetting of the entertainment screen was bizarre, and we'll have a look at that also later. In front of me was then a bottle of water. They get a thumbs up on that front, and the amenity kit bag was by Porsche Design. I can tell you, as a big petrol head, that got me very excited indeed. Down to your side, there was an adjustable-ish armrest. You could feel the seat's age slightly with the operation of that one. And then peering over very slightly was a small storage area, which was where the headset went. Now, I think this may have been slightly easier to access had I left the armrest down, but to be honest, it was really tricky to get into, and it was only just big enough really for the purpose that it served. It was a little bit odd. A little bit later, I got the table out ready for the pre-flight service. It operated quite nicely, as many do of this particular design. It was nice and firm. Overhead, however, there were no individual air vents. Now, when you're sat on the tarmac in Dubai, it's those little things that you for sure notice. Thankfully, however, there was charging, courtesy of an international plug socket adapter, and then just down to my left-hand side was then an additional USB input. I have to say, with this seat's design, it's a little bit bizarre, to be honest, having been sort of sat here for a while and shuffled into it. It kind of feels like I've sat on a balloon, and like, you can't really sort of release the balloon from under you. It's kind of cushioned, but you sort of move around. I don't know whether it's some kind of gel pad or something like that, but we'll see how that goes into the flight. I'm very intrigued as it goes into bed mode as to exactly how that's going to be. But anyway, I'll report back a little bit later in the vlog. For now, just about to see some of the welcome drinks come around, so I'm looking forward to one of those. We're running a little bit late at the moment. It's a little bit warm on board, no overhead air vents as well, but look, let's see what the pre-takeoff service is like, and then we'll get up in the skies and check out some of the food. There's nothing like a glass of champagne to cool you down when you're getting a little bit warm on the Dubai tarmac, take my word for it. I must say, the service from start to finish on this flight was absolutely phenomenal, particularly the individual who was looking after my side and indeed my section of the aircraft. The drink itself tasted really good, and with all that being said, it's now time to push back and we'll get on our way to Frankfurt. As we push back, this is an excellent opportunity for me to say that if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, this is a great opportunity to do so. I release weekly similar content across the channel and would love to have you on board. For those already subscribed, I've recently launched channel memberships, and that's definitely something to check out if you'd like to give a little bit back to the channel. For now, I'll turn down the music and we'll get on our way to Germany. Dubai Airport is always such an interesting one to fly in and out of. It's always really exciting to see whether you get those fantastic city views back towards Dubai. For me that evening, I was looking up north towards Sharjah and also onto the Northern Emirates. We'll kick off the in-flight review with firstly a look at the Amenity kit. As already mentioned, it was done by Porsche Design. In terms of the contents, yeah, not the sort of luxury you might be accustomed to with the likes of Qatar Airways, but it had the basics. There'll be a few more bits also in the bathroom for you, as you can see just here, with some of the eye mask and some of the additional little lotions and potions there. In terms of the bathrooms, these were kept nice and clean throughout the flight. This one, however, was a little bit knackered whilst the toilet was working. The sink definitely wasn't. Next up, we'll jump into the onboard entertainment. This was kicked off on a positive note, courtesy of this nice quality looking headset from Lufthansa. In terms of that entertainment screen, I'm pleased to be able to report that it did bend outwards so you could align a little bit better with it. In terms of the Lufthansa entertainment system, elements of it look really very old. In terms of the content, however, there's a lot of good stuff on there. You just have to look for it. The screen itself was, yeah, very old, as you'd expect. The controller just down to the side in the armrest, again, was pretty old as well. You could, however, pair directly to the device, which I thought was an interesting little feature. With us departing well after midnight, I couldn't wait to settle down and get some rest. In terms of the bed comfort, it was so-so. The footroom was decent. That was probably the best bit. There was very little privacy, not too much room up at the top of the bed. If you're well over 6 foot, I think you're going to struggle in these beds. In terms of the seat comfort, when in bed mode, it was okay. That ballooning or cushioning I spoke about a little bit earlier was actually just down to the fact that you could raise or lower the seat firmness, which was a cool little feature, but overall very so-so on the bed front. I asked to be woken up early the next morning so I could get up in plenty of time to bring the breakfast to you. That was to be the main service, unsurprisingly, on this particular flight. So without further ado, let's first jump in to the menus. In terms of the menus themselves, I thought they were wonderfully put together. I actually reviewed Lufthansa Premium Economy a week or two ago, and that video is available on the channel, but it was much the same back there. Really beautifully put together menus, reminded me a little bit in the use of pictures, similar to what Finnair do. Over the page was a nicely written insight into their world of wines at Lufthansa. I thought it was really wonderfully put together. In terms of the wine selection, this was of a decent size. It was great to see a nicely aged French red. Again, that would be towards the more premium end, much better than my recent experience, for example, with KLM. Now, of course, with the sun only having just risen, wine couldn't have been further from my mind. What was definitely on my mind, however, was the breakfast. I'd opted for the apple and walnut crepe. There was both a more savoury and sweeter option on the breakfast front. This was definitely towards the sweeter side and tasted absolutely fantastic. There's some nice accompaniments on the tray as well, including some overnight oats type of mixture, some fresh fruit, and also some fresh croissants were brought around. There's also then a round of drinks. I opted for some fresh orange juice, and it concluded what was really a very, very good breakfast from Lufthansa. There's some little touches of quality. I quite liked the branded cutlery. Of course, it was all real glassware with the breakfast as well. And that all facilitated what was a morning very worth getting up for. The views out the window were absolutely stunning. I'll leave you for a moment or so with this relaxing music to really enjoy it. Eventually, the sun started to rise and it was a gorgeous, big summer sunrise. So with us now starting our approach into Frankfurt, it's a good time for me to sit back, reflect and share my thoughts with Lufthansa and see exactly how good they were in the business class. So overall, it was really quite average. Of course, I can't sit here with a product so old and so out of date in terms of its configuration and shout from the rooftops as to how good it was. They really are quite a long way behind in this sector, and frankly, the sooner these new seats come in, for them, the better. I do, however, feel that Lufthansa have an incredibly bright future ahead of themselves. Some of the softer product features, which no doubt will copy and paste over to the newer seat designs, were wonderful. The service was on point and I really liked the food. So with that new seat design, I think they're going to be in a really very good place indeed. Moreover, I'm going to have the pleasure of sampling their brand new seat design on an upcoming flight aboard their Airbus A330, and I can't wait to bring that one to you. Expect that one to go live on the channel in the coming weeks ahead. In the meantime, if you're considering flying a major European carrier in their business class, first check out my recent review of KLM in the bottom left and Air France in the top left. Otherwise, all that's left for me to say is to thank you so much for watching today's video. I promise I'll see you in another one real soon.